Happy Thursday, everyone. So I do look a little bit different to normal as it is the 1st of October. So we are celebrating a month of Halloween. So all the looks are going to be inspired and based around our Halloween and special effects. So anyone that's just joining, you'll probably start to get a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing today. Here he is. Let me just get connected first of all. So it's going to be myself and Jordan, the master of special effects, that are going to be taking the live today. So let's just get nice and connected. Hello.
Hi. Wow, you look great. You are ready for the season.
Honestly, I was just thinking, he hasn't actually seen me today, so I'm probably going to take you by surprise.
That's awesome. No, you look fantastic already.
Thank
I was
you.
not expecting that when I turned on the camera.
Did I scare you?
So let's see here.
How are you?
Just trying. I'm sorry.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. It was, it's been a little bit of a morning and a little bit of a year, but all in all, everything is going very well.
Well, you look very well. That's the main thing. You look great.
Thank you.
Okay, so
How's
we're going to
how's the
be...
camera?
Yeah, you look good. You're fine. There's a
Okay,
little bit of a
perfect.
delay, but hopefully that will sort itself out.
So, what are we working on today?
Yes, so today is going to be lots of fun. So everyone has constantly been asking for special effects, to see some real kind of gruesome stuff as well. So this is the day, everyone. This is where you're going to have the best of the best, which is Jordan. He is going to be taking you through, as well as myself, of some special effects looks. So it's all about on-skin effects. So things that are quick and easy to apply and to get kind of really good results with. So I'm going to go for a little bit more of a simplistic route and a little bit more glamour. And Jordan, explain what you're going to do. What's kind of your inspiration of your look?
Oh, my inspiration is it's just gore, gruesomeness, nothing, nothing particular in regards to inspiration. I love doing injury effects,
Yeah.
and that's my jam. That's my background. I'm very excited to show you what I'm gonna do. And also, it's actually really easy to do using the right products. So yeah, but I'm gonna be doing kind of like a big, hideous open wound facial trauma thing on myself.
Amazing. So that's actually really good for everyone to know. So this is mine and Jordan's first live together. So it's going to be lots of fun. And for anyone that is interested in special effects, that has a real passion for it, this is your guide. So any questions you guys have, make sure you get them through, because you've all been desperate for some special effects. So this is the day for you all. So it's going to be all based on gruesome and gore. So Jordan's going to be working with a few different materials to what I'm going to be using, and we just want you to get involved, get in the spirit of Halloween. We have got the whole month planned out for you guys to see some really cool lives. So hopefully today we can set it off in the right direction.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so I've already got my base down, as you can see. Just because I knew that it would probably take me a little bit longer, so I thought I'd get the bulk of it out of the way. So first of all, I've just blocked my eyebrows. So I've gone in with a little bit of the Prosade. So this is a really great glue if you're using it for prosthetics, or if you just want to do like a brow block. I feel really strange actually that I've got like no eyebrow on this side. I feel like an egg.
I like it. I think it looks good. You can totally rock that look.
I mean, the pale skin is doing my teeth no favors, but it's fine.
That is always, a risk you run with putting white makeup on. It always makes even the whitest teeth look a little off color, but you look great. I think it looks really rad. I know. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So Jordan, tell me, I mean, Halloween in the States is always so massive. It's obviously like the kind of main place it all started. Like, do you see changing trends? Has it been, obviously like this year's a bit different, right? Just due to the pandemic and the environment.
Absolutely.
However, how do you feel like what's kind of like the build up? What's like the kind of coup for Halloween in the States?
Yeah, I mean, Halloween, as you mentioned, is just, it's massive in the United
Yeah.
States. And it seems like every year it's just getting bigger and bigger, and it's starting earlier and earlier. You start to see Halloween things come out in the store in August,
Yeah.
and which I have no problem with because I love Halloween. It's my favorite day. Yeah, I mean, this year people are definitely, it's hard to know what to expect exactly, what Halloween is going to look like.
Yeah.
Um, for obvious reasons. But people are still getting into the spirit of things, and there's always certain looks that are trendy. That's
Yeah.
oftentimes based on what is, what movies are being shown and what's on TV. But you can never go wrong with good old-fashioned gore.
Yeah.
Gore and zombies is something that's never going to go out of style. Um,
Absolutely. I think the more gruesome things are, the more people really sort of kind of let go and get into it. Or you can go like the other side as well, get really kind of full into a character as well. Like you can go complete opposite. So I think that's quite nice that we're showing two different styles today. You're going to go for real sort of gruesome gore, and I've gone more
yeah,
kind of character based. So yeah, same here as well in the UK. It's got really, really big
yeah.
over the years. People are starting to really embrace Halloween. And just, I think people just feel like they can take on a different character for the season and just kind of do what they want and be creative with the makeup as well, which is really nice.
Yeah. And that is the beauty of Halloween. You can be whatever you want.
Exactly.
And
So when
yeah,
you start to do your kind of gruesome gore makeup, do you normally go by like a reference? Would you kind of work out?
yes, I like to draw heavily upon reference, and I think that especially, I mean, it's important when you're approaching any makeup. You want to draw upon photographs for inspiration, and in the sake of injury simulation, you really want to, replicate what you might see in real life. You just
Okay.
have a little bit of a strong stomach for some of those really, really gruesome ones. But if you want to be a good artist and create a realistic looking injury, then you have to go off of what would actually occur in real life. So, and there's plenty of resources out there for that purpose. But that is very important. And for injuries, I have a whole catalog that I keep for myself
Yeah.
that has various types of injuries, everything from bruises to cuts and open wounds, and there's some more heavier looking traumatic
Yeah.
injuries as well.
I'm actually I've got some of your work here, so I'm going to just show everyone.
Oh, oh my
It's
goodness, nice.
amazing. So this one is actually my favorite one, just because you was in the UK. This was for the masterclass, right?
It was, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I just thought this was absolutely unreal. Like the detail that you put into this, and you can obviously explain a little bit more, but the detail and the products that you used were just unreal. How you got this effect, like it's amazing.
Yeah, that was actually, it looks like it would have been made out of a prosthetic, but that was
Yeah.
all hand done out of kit, as we say, using items that you'd find in a makeup kit. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually going to be using today the product that I used to create that. So that was kind of a combination of using Artex, which is our two-part silicone-based compound for creating injuries, open wounds, and scars on the skin. And I also did some other things. I used some fish skin in that look, and I did some gluing techniques. Fish skin, if you're not familiar, is a very unusual but awesome product where you can take strips of it and glue your face and distort it into certain ways. I
Yeah.
love to incorporate it into an injury look, or also, when you're doing certain character looks as well. It's really fun to work with.
Yeah, it's
But today I'm
incredible.
going to
It's
be
absolutely
focusing.
amazing.
What's that?
It looks absolutely amazing. Like you said,
Oh,
it does look like a full prosthetic. Like the fact that you've done this. So like today, for anyone that's just joining, we're doing on skin effects. So products that are easy to get access to, that are simple to apply. Well, we say simple. There's definitely some techniques which Jordan will talk you through and take you step by step. But like you said, it's not a prosthetic piece, so it is definitely something that you can achieve at home for Halloween to get that really gruesome effect. So that's what today's all about. So what are you doing at the moment? What's your step?
So I thought I'm going to do a big wound on my face. That's the idea. I'm just protecting the area of my eyebrow where I'd like to create part of the wound. And I'm going to be using Artex, as I mentioned. Artex is a very, very sticky silicone compound. You don't want to get it into hair, so you want to make sure that you prep hair and create kind of a barrier or a seal to prevent the Artex from getting into it. So I'm using Prozaid. And I think, did you use this to cover your eyebrows? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I use
Okay.
exactly the same. Mine's just the bigger size. So you can get
Yeah.
them in the smaller pipettes. You can get them in the, I think this is the 50 mil. Yeah. And you can also get the up to a litre. Like they come in so many sizes.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is such an important tool as an effects makeup artist. It's used not only to glue things down, it can be used for sealing, it can be used for covering the eyebrow. So there's a lot of different uses for the Prozaid, and it's really sticky stuff. And the way I'm applying it to my brows, I'm applying a very thin layer, I let it dry, and then I tap on another layer, let it dry. And the beauty of this for covering eyebrows, there's many different ways to cover eyebrows, but this acts as a very strong adhesive, and it also acts as a filler. So it kind of fills in fine lines and texture and creates more of a smooth surface.
If you've got a few wrinkles, can you use it?
Yes.
Oh, love it. So yeah, it's definitely a good go-to. And the nice thing about it as well, it's really flexible, isn't it? So if you're using it under like a prosthetic piece, you do have that kind of movability and breathability with it as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's elastic, so it moves with your skin, which is really nice. It's not going to crack or separate. So I have, at this point, I have like, I think 4 layers on. I think that's adequate for what I'm going to be doing. And again, I'm just using it as a means to protect my eyebrow from the Artex that I'm going to lay on top of it, so the Artex doesn't become embedded in the eyebrow hairs.
Yeah, that's actually really important.
Yeah, oh my God, it's amazing. All the drag queens use Prozaid now. That's kind of the standard for covering their eyebrows.
Yeah. I found it, you know what, it's actually the first time, I won't lie, this is the first time I've used Prozaid for my brows. Normally I always go for like waxes, but
yeah,
you know me, I have big brows, right? So I always find that it tends to like push
luscious,
it away.
yes, yes.
They tend to like push it away and break the wax down. So I've actually had this half of makeup on since like probably 1 o'clock this afternoon, and they have not budged. So they're amazing, and also block brows as well. So we've got some questions coming through.
Okay.
I'm going to give this one straight to you because I feel like you're the best person to answer this.
All right, hit me.
Okay, so it says, how to get into doing special effects makeup?
Oh, wow. There's many different avenues you can take. I recommend, of course, always starting out on your own and practicing, building a portfolio so that you have something to be armed with when you do go out to pursue a career. There are so many resources out there right now. We're producing videos like this. Yeah. So there's no shortage of tutorials and things so that you can get started on your own makeup looks. Mm-hmm. That would be a great place to start, just having a, kind of a base education, self-taught education, so that you can have the very basics down. There's also schools. Mm-hmm. Going to a school to study makeup artistry is rather important because there are certain sanitation things and safety things that need to be taken into consideration. And also it's a great place to meet people and, make connections and network.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any of your workshops going ahead at the moment in San Fran, or is it kind of
We are trying to figure that out. We are going to be offering webinars at some point, but right now we don't have anything going on. I'm hoping before October is through, we're going to offer some sort of Halloween type of webinar.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But yes, normally speaking, we do have workshops throughout the year, usually about 4 a month. So whenever we return to some sort of normalcy, we will resume that. And in the time being, we'll be offering webinars.
Oh, but that's still amazing to like have that, you know, accessibility to have a look and see what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing about education is, you know, a lot of what you would learn is just going out into the field and actually working.
Yeah.
I had an internship when I was 17, and that was an invaluable experience. I learned so much. It was a lot of fun, and much of what you learn and will apply towards your future career is learned during, you know, situations like that, experiences like that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I think that's always a good way to kind of move forward. It's like you said, a lot of it is really understanding the products, the ingredients, and also just the kind of networking as well, kind of really understanding who's in that field and where you can go to as well. So
Absolutely.
amazing. What are you putting on now?
So what I'm doing now, I have my eyebrow glued down. I've also powdered it just to take away some of the stickiness because Prosade is very, very sticky.
Yeah.
When you powder it, it takes away that tackiness. Now I'm going in with a contour pencil. This is just one of our lip pencils. The color specifically is 910. And I'm using this color because it kind of replicates the color of blood, more or less. And
Yeah.
I'm using it as a guide to kind of sketch out the areas where I'm going to be applying the Artex, just to give me some sort of, you know, guide to follow. So
Yeah.
I'm not just going in there kind of randomly and figuring out as I go along. So since I'm doing a laceration, lacerations have a very irregular sort of look to them. So making it a little scattered, a little jagged looking, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just supposed to give me an idea of where my injuries are going to go. So an injury like this, a laceration, it could have been caused by, this also looks like kind of claw marks, maybe a bear got to my face and kind of tore it away. Every injury has a story.
Yeah, I was going to say to you, like with that, sorry, I'm just fiddling with this blood here at the moment. When you actually like do a wound or a laceration, would you have to then make sure you know how that was caused so that you can actually, you know, imitate the injury?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Especially if you're working in film or production of some sort. You know, they may call for a very specific type of injury caused by, you know, a specific weapon or whatever, you know, situation that they're in. So that's something that you have to analyze and break down. And then you do your research, you find your reference photos, and you develop the injury based off of that. Now, even though I'm doing a application directly to my face, the out-of-kit method, as we were explaining earlier, you can also use Artex to pre-create some pieces. And if you work on a piece of wax paper or parchment paper, something that has like a release to it, you can draw out and kind of create your own little prosthetics right on that paper, and then carefully peel them off and then glue them on with an adhesive like our silicone adhesive, Neo.
Oh, amazing.
This is a silicone-based adhesive, and this will bond really well to any silicone product. So there's more than one ways to use the Artex for creating injuries.
Yeah, the fact that you can actually pre-make them, like if you don't have the time then to maybe do it on the day, you can make them all and then just go back to them when they're ready, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can pre-prep several pieces if necessary. Oftentimes for productions, you know, you have to recreate the look several times, so you'll need several pieces, and doing the groundwork ahead of time is very, very helpful. And Leanne, what I'm doing now is I'm going to dig into my Artex. Oops, get a little drippage here.
It already looks so effective, even without anything on there, just the pencil.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a really cool looking injury with just paint and powder. You know, I've used like super color, for instance, to create the illusion of a three-dimensional injury when in fact it's completely two-dimensional. So, and sometimes you also incorporate those techniques into your three-dimensional look. But I have my Artex out now. This is the Artex, and this is are two-part silicone compound that when mixed together, equal parts A and B, you have about, depending on a variety of factors, about a minute, maybe a little bit under a minute. If it's
Okay.
really, really hot out and you're kind of sweaty, then it
Yeah.
seems to set a little bit faster than it does under a cold environment.
Okay.
But I just eyeball it. I take a little bit of A out, I take a little bit of B out, and then I put it into a little cup like this,
Mm-hmm.
side by side. And when I'm ready to go, I mix it all together. And it has kind of a, sticky, stringy consistency. And to apply it, I use my flat metal spatula. This is a very important tool to have when you're working with the Artex because you need the control. You can't go in with your fingers. It's just not going to work. So I'm starting by just kind of laying out my shapes. I'm not detailing it yet. I'm not blending it yet. I'm just trying to lay the product out onto the skin. And before it sets, that's when I'll go in and begin to blend the edges down and define it more.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
I'm actually just having a play as we sit and do this. So I originally wanted to do two drops on one side and the same on the other, but the ones that I've got are a little bit big and it looks a little bit busy. So I think I'm going to keep one on this side. So again, with Halloween, you can go as crazy as you want, but it's me being very particular because I'm more from a beauty background that I like to have a little bit of symmetry going on. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to actually show you guys, so how I made these tiers, it's a really quick and simple way to do, and they're so effective. So they give you a 3D effect. So if you do want to add a different dimension to your makeup, this is amazing because it just gives you that different element. They're also really glossy as well, so they look like they're wet. So what it is, it's Gel FX, which is this little sheet here. I actually used it in the squeezy tube. So what I done was I took the lid off. I then used some of the HD blood, which is this one here. I just put a little bit of the HD blood into the Gel FX tube. If you're going to microwave these, I would always say take the cap off first. You don't want to put the cap on because it can end up getting too much air. So make sure the cap is off. Then I would say around about 10 to 20 seconds. Every microwave is different, so just really be mindful that you kind of put it on a low heat and that you slowly do it. Then what you'll end up getting is a mixture like this. And what I done with the squeezy tube is literally just painted it on to the back of my palette. So you can make loads of different shapes, you can make different effects. And then all I done was use a little bit of eyelash glue just to stick them on with. So really quick and easy and really effective.
Yeah,
But you can use this for so much stuff.
It looks awesome.
Thank you. I just thought I wanted to keep it kind of girly still and pretty, so I went for that effect. But you can also use it for burns as well. Have you used this for burns?
Oh yeah, that product is fantastic for burns, and it comes in a variety of colors.
Yeah.
There is, at least here in the United States, there's the clear, the neutral one that you have. There's red, there's black, and there's a flesh tone. And when used with each other, if you layer the colors, then it actually looks very gruesome, like a very severe 2nd degree, almost 3rd degree burn.
Yeah. I love it as well, just because you don't need adhesive to actually stick it. So the reason I have is because I pre-made the pieces. What you can do with the squeezy tube, you can put this into hot water, you can melt it down that way. So if you don't have a microwave or you're a little bit unsure how to use it, the purpose of using the microwave is to melt the product. So it melts the gelatine down and gives you a liquid form. So if you don't want to use the microwave, you can also immerse it into boiling water. And then as well, just before you apply it directly onto the skin, just always check the temperature. Make sure that it's not to a boiling point where it's going to actually scald or burn you. But then you can just literally paint it directly on and then it self-adheres. So you don't actually need to use a glue. It's only because I pre-made mine. So you have 2 options. How do you like to work with it, Jules?
I primarily use it for burns. I think it's such an awesome product for creating a very realistic looking burn, and it's very easy to use. It's really gentle on the skin since it's naturally derived ingredients.
Yeah.
And that is my primary use for it. I also use it to create, in corporation with my burn makeup, I use it to create like big blisters. You can use it for creating, scarring. I've also seen some clever uses. I think there was it a calendar shoot when one artist used it to create this very decorative, almost, very shiny, decorative lace-like mask over the face.
Yeah.
That I was just blown away by that. I thought that was so beautiful.
Created that.
Yeah, I really love that makeup. So, as a makeup artist, you're always experimenting with products. You're always coming up with new ideas on how to use products. That's one thing I love about Kryolan products is that they are quite versatile. I've used a number of beauty products for effects related things.
Yeah.
Our high gloss, for instance, it's my favorite product for creating slime.
Okay.
And we have other things that you could easily create slime with, but it's just so wet looking and it's so tacky as well. It sticks well to the skin. So that is my go-to whenever I need to make drool running down the face or add some sort of slime coming out of.
I think I've actually got something on here. Let me so something like this, do you mean, George?
Oh. Yeah, I believe I used it, so I mixed it probably with a pigment there. Yes, that's quite shocking.
Disgusting.
Thank you.
What was this for?
That was for a trade show in New Orleans. It was a Halloween expo, and Kryolan was in a competition for creating an alien look was the theme. So I made these pieces out of our gel foam product.
Yeah.
And I sculpted the pieces prior to that, made a mold, and then I run the gel foam through the mold. I also did that for the finger things and the tentacles, and then very simply just glued them on.
It's so gruesome.
That is a quick look into my weird mind.
I mean, you've got to definitely have a passion for it, right? But the stuff that you come up with is just incredible, and you get so many different levels as well, just from using really simple products as well as using your silicones and things like that. So
yes, absolutely.
You guys will see today.
Some of my favorite makeups are just using out of kit effects, and I've seen some people create some very creative things using, very simple products. So I'm on my second layer. I'm just building layers. One thing with Artex, because it has a very quick setting time, you don't want to mix too much of it right off the bat. You want to work with it in layers and batches. So this is my second layer. I'm going to do a third, fourth, maybe a fifth layer, and it sticks to itself. So, you don't have to completely complete one area. You can go back in and correct it or add on top of it with another layer of Artex. So that's one of the beauties of working with it, is it's rather forgiving in that sense.
Yeah, you can as well actually sculpt around the shape of the face as well. So generally, if you're doing your prosthetics, you need to do a life cast, right? You need to actually take impressions of the face. With this, you can literally sculpt around that person's features on the day, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I've actually, we have, we've made prosthetic pieces out of Artex.
Yes, we have.
Remember correctly. So it can be used as a casting silicone, a prosthetic silicone, if need be. But that, I think, is for another Instagram Live for another day.
Yes, I mean, anyone that's just joining, we are today focusing on quick honest skin effects for Halloween. So creating some really kind of gruesome, and as well if you want to go a little bit more glammy. So you've got choices. Well, I mean, this isn't exactly glam, but there's elements. there's elements in there, so you've got options today. But any questions you guys have regarding any of the products that we're using, please get your questions in, because I know that you've all been desperate for a special effects live. So I'll just give you a little quick update with what I'm using, just in case anyone has missed. So we've gone on first of all with the gel effects, which we've done our blood tears with, and then I'm just using the eye bloods. Now these are so effective. They are quick instant effects, so if you're not comfortable using things like contact lenses, or you just want to add a different dimension to your makeup, the eye bloods are fantastic for photography use, or if you're just doing kind of quick adaptations to the makeup. So generally these do go into the eye. I am really funny with things going inside my eye, so I've actually used it in a different way. I've used it to create these kind of streak, kind of black running tears down the sides, and I've also got it on my neck as well. So if you want that real sort of fantasy element, or that kind of gothic feel to your makeup, you can use this in the eyes, which just turns your eyes completely black, or you can also use it on the skin as makeup as well. It's a really good little one to have in your kit. And they come in so many different colours as well. This is black. You also get like yellow, you get green, red, and they're just really effective. So if you're brave enough to go in the eye, I might do it at the end, I'll let you know. I'm just not with like even eye drops, I get freaked out.
If the mood takes you. No, I understand. But they are safe for the eye. They could be a little, you know, odd once you drop them in the eye, but they're perfectly safe. And you know, I actually love to mix colors too, because we have, you know, we have the primary colors and we have green and black. So I'll make like a zombie, like putrid yellow brown by taking some of the yellow, maybe like a tiny drop of red and a tiny drop of green, and maybe even a little black. And it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I might do it. It's only because even like with normal eye drops, I'm just such a baby. Like I just instantly like flinch. So I might do it at the end. But no, like Jordan said, they're absolutely safe to use in the eye. They are made particularly to go in the eyes. So if you love all that, then definitely go for it. They look incredible.
Yeah, it really finishes a look, I gotta say.
I feel like I'm going to have to do it now.
I know, the pressure is on. We all want it.
Go for it.
Okay. So I'm just continuing. This is my third layer here. I think I might finish it at 4 layers. Should be adequate, just to kind of finesse some of the edges and add a little bit more detail. So when you're, oh, thank you. So is yours. I'm really very imaginative. I love it.
I was just playing. At first, I didn't even know what direction I was going in. I thought, it's Halloween, you can do whatever you want. And then I just got really carried away, and then my brows were gone. My hair was coloured. I just went full force.
That's awesome. Well, this is the opportunity to do it. That's the wonderful thing about Halloween. You can look as weird as possible, and people will only embrace you that much more.
Love it.
So one important note about the Artex I always mention to people is that, you know, essentially one component A is a base, and component B is a catalyst. So you want to make sure that when you dip into one component with a tool, like a spatula, you either clean the tool off very well, or you just grab a fresh one, and then you can go into the second component. Because you don't want to introduce any, you know, of each component into the either. Because it will ultimately set off the entire batch, and you won't be able to work with it. So you got to be a little careful with the silicones. They are very sensitive. And then I just eyeball it. I take ruffles. I take ruffles. First I take my ruffles and I shimmy, and then I take roughly equal parts out. It doesn't have to be perfect equal parts, but just eyeball it. And then you mix it together nice and vigorously, mash it all together. Now it comes in this kind of generic flesh tone, which works for most people when you're making injuries. But if you're working with someone who has a darker complexion, we do carry products for coloring silicone. And I will usually just add a tiny drop of silicone colorizer. This is in brown, I believe. Yes, brown. Tiny, tiny drop, not too much because it is super concentrated and it's going to make the wax, the Artex look like wax if you add too much to it. It's going to lose its nice translucency. Mm-hmm. So just a tiny touch of that and you should be able to color it beautifully. Ooh, this is hard to reach.
And how long, like, I can't remember if you said, so just to like recap for anyone that maybe missed it, like, is there a certain drying time in between?
Yeah, so it's usually about a minute, a little under a minute, I've found. I tend to run hot. I'm just like a hot, sweaty person. So it sets lightning fast on me. But it really depends on environmental factors. But I'd say generally it's about a little under a minute. So you have to work fast. That's another reason why you just take out small batches so that you don't end up wasting the product. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but it's great. But I don't know if you can see it's moving with my skin. It's not rigid. It really bonds so well to the skin. And
yeah, it's really elastic. So you can actually, like, the thing is with like latex and that sort of stuff, it's great, isn't it? Because it's cheap, it's something that you can kind of build, but I always find latex can be a little bit kind of pinchy, like it kind of pinches on your skin. This is definitely more comfortable, especially if you are going to wear it for like a long period of time. So for like a party or an occasion, or, you know, if you're going to be doing stuff more for TV and film, it's going to be kind of more durable to wear.
More durable and, you know, I think more realistic as well. If you're going for realism, there's a lot you can do with latex, but there are limitations. At Artex, there's just so much more you can do with it, and it just looks much more flesh-like than latex does. Let's see. So I'm just adding some extra little globs here and there.
I love your technical term of globs.
Oh, those are all, that's the limit of my vocabulary this morning.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, we always keep forgetting that it's nice and early where you are right now.
Yes.
Globs is cool. I like it. It's all good. I'm actually going to just show a few more of your images because I've got some more here and I don't want anyone to miss them.
All right.
But this one is insane. So this is one of your recent ones, right?
Yeah. You know, one of the beauties of the pandemic is it kind of jump-started my creative juices. Yeah. And I made that's made out of Kryolan cold foam. So I sculpted it using a clay. I made a mold and then I cast it using our cold foam, which is it's like a polyurethane foam product for creating prosthetic pieces. So it looks rigid, but it's actually nice and soft and lightweight.
Incredible.
And I glued it on that's my little eye peeping out there.
I love yourself as well. Like, I just love how you can change your character completely.
I know. It's I haven't done a lot of makeups on myself, so I took it as a challenge. Believe it or not, after all these years of working, Halloween's the only time I really put makeup on myself.
Yeah, it's finding the time, and obviously while you're doing it all day, you kind of just end up forgetting about doing it and yourself and having that creative time as well. And that's what we said as well. Like, for us, we've really been able to like immerse ourselves into the whole sort of makeup world again and just experimenting even with our own makeups. It's been really cool.
Oh yeah.
There's pros and cons to this whole pandemic, I guess.
Okay, I think I'm looking pretty torn up. It's a little hard to see on camera, at least on my camera, but what I'm gonna do now is powder it because the Artex, even though it's set, it still has a stickiness to it. It shouldn't lift away on your finger. If it's lifted away on your finger, it means it's not set. Or you maybe got the ratios wrong.
Okay.
When you were mixing.
What would you do if that was the case, if that happened, what would you do to correct it?
Well, if it's a case of getting the ratios wrong, then you kind of have to, I suppose you could go in if you knew which one you were a little short on, which component you were a little short on, you could add a little bit more and try to whip it in there. But
Hmm.
the best thing you can do is just take it off and kind of start over. I've done this in the past where I've taken component A out and I put it on the on my little mixing plate and then I put it down and then I picked component A back up and
Hmm.
thought it was component B, mixed them together, put them on the face and they weren't setting up and I was going nuts trying to figure out what was going on. And then I realized my error. So if that's the case, unfortunately, you do need to kind of scrape it off and just start fresh. Um, but when it's set, it's very, very flesh-like. It has a little bit of a tackiness to it, and as you can see, it's shiny. And the way you take the tackiness and shine out is just with a little translucent powder. I'm just using our classic translucent powder in TL1, which has no
Hmm.
color. I'll just go in with a nice fluffy brush. You don't need a lot, you just need enough to just take the shine out and the tackiness.
It looks so good already. Like, this is the thing, like, I feel like sometimes people will sit there and really rack their brains with how they can create this amazing looking makeup, and you've just showcased it. Like, you can do it so quick and easy at home, and it's just the know-how, right? Just knowing how to
Yeah,
use your
it's just
formula, how to mix it.
a little bit of practice, getting used to the product and starting out small with maybe like a little injury on your hand, and then you can work your way up to more elaborate things. But it really is just getting a hang of the setting time and the consistency. That's what you need to get down. Yeah, so now that it's powdered, I've taken away the tackiness and a lot of the shine has been reduced. So it looks even more flesh-like now.
Yeah, it looks incredible. It literally looks like skin. So I'm just going on with the bruise wheels. So these are, again, an amazing thing to have in your kits for Halloween. So, or even just if you're into special effects. So I have the primary colour, which is the FX wheel. So this is great if you need to really mix and match. You can do bruising, you can do lacerations, you can even do like little burns with this as well. And then I also have the bruise wheel, but these come in so many different selections and colours. So again, to have in your kits, these are fantastic because you can create some really amazing bruising. You can do cuts, abrasions. They're really sort of practical to work with. And I'm just going in with a mixture of a rubber pour sponge just to add that kind of mottled effect that you get with bruising, and then just a few brushes as well. So quick and easy, but you can get that really kind of gruesome effect with it as well.
I love those cream circles. There's so much you can do with them. Believe it or not, a lot of people actually buy them for eyeshadow base, I've found in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, they love them as like a little eyeshadow base palette.
Yeah, do you know what, actually? That's Gemma absolutely adores Colour. Like, she's been using it so much recently. So yeah, I'm not surprised that you guys also like it as well. So I'm just using, oh right, so this image, tell us.
Oh, yeah, that is, reminiscent of what I'm doing now, but that was actually created using a prosthetic piece. And believe it or not, I used Artex to create that piece. And it's a little bit of a complex process to explain, but essentially I used a flat surface and I sculpted the piece using a clay on that surface. I took a mold off of it. It was just a mold made out of a very hard plaster. And when you remove the mold from the piece, you're left with a cavity. I took the Artex material and I just kind of squeegeed it in nice and smooth. You remove it and then you glue it on. And the beauty of having a mold is that you can make multiple. So again, if you're
Yeah.
doing this for a production, you can produce a multitude of pieces and it's going to look consistent every single day. But yeah, that is Artex. The blood, I think, was our drying blood or HD blood. I don't quite remember.
What's your favourite blood, actually? What would you like? What's your
Oh,
go-to?
I have to say the new drying blood is,
Yeah.
I love it. It just does everything I want a blood to do. It looks realistic. It flows beautifully, and when it dries, because you need a little bit of control with your blood, so it doesn't get all over the place. When it dries, it still looks wet. So, and it stays on. It has amazing staying power.
Yeah, it is incredible actually. It's alcohol based as well, right? So you get that.
It is, yeah.
That's
So
but it
it's not
also
going to
just
come
stays
off.
really shiny, doesn't it? Like it always looks wet,
Yeah,
even when it's like fully dry.
absolutely. Yeah, the alcohol base means that it's not going to dissolve with water or sweat or humidity. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually using a nice little stipple brush from our Blue Master line. And I'm coloring it, I'm going to be coloring it with the Body Illustration color palettes. These are alcohol activated colors. And because they're alcohol activated, that means that they're going to be waterproof when they set on the skin. So they're not soluble in water. And they take really nicely to the Artex. This is probably the easiest thing to paint the Artex with. But you could also use the cream circles. Certainly those work really well. You can actually use eyeshadow. The Artex takes the eyeshadow very nicely.
Yeah.
So
I've got this palette as well, just to show people. So if you don't want to go for a wheel and you really want to build your kit, these ones are amazing as well. So this one is the effects palette from the Colour and Vision. So it's exactly what's in your colour wheel, but you just get a selection. And again, these come in all different types as well. So these are fantastic if you are building your kit and you obviously want to get a little bit more into your special effects. So I'm going to just stick my lash on because I feel like I'm bald on one eye.
Yeah, that's a look for some people, I'm sure.
Yeah, again, Halloween, everything goes right. So what's been like trending? What would you say is going to be this year? Like, what's the main focus for Halloween?
That's a little hard to say. I mean, again, always what's occurring in media, what's movies and television shows. There's a lot of popular television shows that have come out. It's a tricky year though, because I think people are still trying to figure out how they're going to celebrate.
Yeah.
Things are, people are even wondering if their kids are going to be able to trick or treat this year. So
Yeah, of course. What about last year then? What would you say like last year was quite big for?
Last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year, it's always what's been shown in the theaters. Last year it was characters from various movies that that have just come out. I think this year the main challenge is since masks are mandated in California, incorporating a look that uses a mask successfully, as if it's part of the look, as if it's intentional.
Yeah. Do you know what could work? Actually thinking about
what?
it. So if you've got to do a mask and it's something you've got to keep on, why don't you just do like the Chainsaw Massacre, or you've got Halloween? Like,
yeah, it's really quite simple. But then the only thing is, you slap a mask on and then you call it a look. I love to have makeup on. I feel like it just has to have makeup to complete the look.
But the thing is, you could make your own. So like the cold foam that you used for that skull, right? You could do something like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, all of those masks, like, Michael Myers from Halloween, that was used, the original mask was just a cheesy store-bought mask. So you could easily create something even more elaborate. Now they go in and they actually, they sculpt the mask and they cast it, and so it's a much more elaborate process. But
still, if you want to go for a mask, there's always ways around it. So you can always use the cold foam as well. But like you say, there is going to be more lives all this month. So if you guys are really interested in your special effects, definitely keep a lookout each Tuesday and Thursday, because you are going to be getting more lives coming for this Halloween. So it's going to be really interesting with all the different products. So I'm almost done. I just have to do some, Well, I feel like I do want to do the eye glide. I might just have to kind of do it quickly, like off camera, and then come back in case I make some really weird random faces.
So, have you decided? Are you going to do it?
I'm going to try and do it, yeah, because I feel like you guys need to see it. So I will try.
We have faith in you.
Okay. If you hear me like squeal, then you know what. I'm such a baby. Okay, right. I've got some questions for you. Favorite special effects makeup to create? Like, what's your favorite?
Oh man, I mean, I just love a good old-fashioned zombie. It seems so boring and cliche, but I just think it's such a cool character, and nothing terrifies me more than the idea of a corpse becoming reanimated and seeking human flesh. I love doing zombies. I also love doing really bizarre things. You saw that skull that I created. I was trying to go for something very unusual and surreal and ethereal. So I'm trying to experiment more with taking makeup artistry and throwing a real artistic spin on it, using it to create these these concept pieces. But at the end of the day, I just love doing a zombie.
That's your go-to. That's your favorite.
Yeah, I love it.
Right. Okay, I've got it in. Can you guys see that? Better the fact that I just done.
A little bit. It's trying to well. Did you get the black in? Is that what you used?
Yeah. So I used the black just to go inside the eye.
Uh-huh.
I love the red as well because the red makes your eyes look really like bloodshot.
So I'm just going in with a couple blood colors right now. It really is like my skin got torn, mangled. There's bits of it still hanging on. So I'm getting the color in. I'll probably end up softening a lot of it. And I know it looks like we're getting... Looks like we're getting a little short on time, right?
That's okay. We started about 5 minutes earlier. So yeah, if you're, I mean, I've already put some eye drops in, but if you're probably a little bit braver than me, you can go a little bit heavier. But you can also get like these tears from it. You can always like, again, there's red, which is great if you want like the bloodshot eyes. There's yellow. There's loads of different colours to play with as well. And they can just add a really cool effect to your makeup. What are you adding now, George?
I'm just adding the straight body illustration color activator. This is what you use with the body illustration color to get them pliable. And I'm just using a clean brush with a little bit of the activator just to soften and blend some of these strokes that I created.
Looks sore. Looks painful.
Yeah, this would be a rather serious injury that it's so funny when it comes to real life, I'm such a wimp. I cut my finger the other night on a mandolin and I almost like fainted.
Oh my God.
The real stuff terrifies me. The fake stuff I love.
Yeah, and I'm sure as well the pain. The pain probably wasn't very nice either.
The pain, there was blood everywhere. It was too much for me to take.
You're a sensitive soul, really.
I am. I'm a delicate person. I really am.
And what is your must-haves? Like, if you were to like build up a small kit to start, like, what is your must-have products? What would you go for?
Oh, I would say to start out probably a wax. Those are really wax is a really good tool to work with. Our Cinewax is my favorite formulation. It's soft and it's sticky and it's very realistic and flesh-like once it's on the skin. So I would say wax is probably an essential for a beginner kit. The cream circles, like you were showing earlier, a bruise circle, a burn and injury circle. Those are great tools to have in your kit. And maybe some latex to play around with that. Latex is it's a very simple product, but it's very effective for creating, you know, shedding skin. You can do burns with it.
Yeah. And again, it's a quick product to use, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just adding a little detail in here. I'm actually using the color black, very sheer layer, just to get into the deep parts of the opening, just to define a little bit more, give it a little bit of depth.
Yeah, just to shade a little bit, right?
Just shade, exactly.
So another question in regards to the Artex, what other uses are there for it? So if you wasn't using it for how you are or to make a prosthetic piece, is there any other ways that you maybe use it?
Well, it can be used for filling in recessed scars.
Yeah.
You have to have a very skillful hand to do it, but it can be done. So for instance, if someone has a small indentation in their face, then you can use it almost like a filler to kind of fill in and then apply makeup on top. But that is a little challenging to do. So that one definitely takes some practice.
Mm-hmm.
But
it is amazing for that exact reason, though.
I love it. I don't know what I'd do without it, to be honest.
So I just see a question pop up there. What did you use for the black tears? So if you're referring to these, I actually use the eye blood. So this can go in the eye, like I just demonstrated, but I'm not the best for things inside my eye. Or you can use it as well to create these really cool sort of, they kind of look like ink as well. So if you are going for more of that kind of fantasy, kind of witchy vibe, then it's cool to use it on the skin as well. And it does last and stay. So if you are going to be out for a length of time, you're going to have that staying there quite a while, which is amazing. And things like this as well, whenever I do any sort of like character or Halloween based makeup, my main thing for me is I don't like things that transfer too much. So I don't want to have to like worry about not touching my face. So you can also get products that really dry as well. So Jordan was just using one of the alcohol palettes. So if you do want to colour skin, or if you want to colour things like pieces that you've made, then the alcohol palette is also amazing for that as well, because then it's not going to smudge or come away if you get a little bit hot as well.
Exactly. I do a lot of pre-painting on prosthetic pieces with the body illustration color. And that really helps speed the application product. And this is one of the only products that I've found that will actually stay on the prepared prosthetic piece. You could use cream makeup as well, but oftentimes that will transfer when you're handling the piece. So this is definitely the best way to go for that purpose.
Okay, another question just before we have to go. So we're going to be like probably another 5 minutes, guys, and it will be the end of the live. If any of you did join a little bit late, this is going to be saved onto the Kryolan official IGTV page, so you can catch up with that. Check out obviously Kryolan's official page. There's some new Halloween content on there, some new imagery, so it'd be amazing for you to go and check that out. The other question as well was, what is the most all-round blood? So if you had to have one blood in your kit, which is like the best one to go for?
Well, again, I love that drying blood, but I would say, if not the drying blood, probably a good starter blood, and one that's probably the most universal, in my opinion, is the SFX blood. Actually, I love, it's one of our older bloods, but I really love the formulation. It also dries down. It's water soluble, which can work in your favor sometimes. I like to thin it out, for instance, if I'm doing a blood gag, where I'm using a blood tubing apparatus. You fill it in with a diluted mixture of the SFX blood, and then you can pump it through open wounds that you've created. So I love the SFX blood. We have so many bloods, so many different bloods for different purposes. The HD blood is also fantastic. It's been formulated to look. Is that what you have?
This is my favourite one. So the HD blood is this one that you're talking about, which you have the arterial and then the venous, which is great if you're doing thick or thinner running bloods. This one as well is amazing. So this is the Supreme Blood. So this is as well for the sizes that you can get, are really affordable. They actually separate on the skin like blood naturally would. So this one has a water and a glucose base, so it's more of a sugar base. And you get an internal and external. So you also get this one, which is the internal, which you can use inside the mouth as well. So if you want some really gruesome effects, then this is also great. You can fill up the capsules if you want to bite into them, and it just gives you a really great effect as well. So that's another good one to have in your kit.
I'm quickly adding some HD blood. In fact, I'm using another one of my favorite blood products is the HD blood gel. So it's that HD liquid blood, but in a thicker formulation so that you have some control. It's great for creating kind of coagulated areas in the injury. You know, maybe like the injury's kind of been sitting out for a while, the blood's starting to coagulate and scab over. And
I thought I would use a little bit just to show.
Oh my God. Wow.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I thought I don't know how long I can actually like keep this in my mouth.
That is a
Gruesome.
look.
So gruesome.
I think you look awesome. You'd fit in very well in San Francisco, even on a normal day, I think.
I think I need to go see a dentist.
Yeah.
Some severe gum disease going on right now. Oh, love it. But yeah, so you can put this one in the mouth as well, and it's literally just, don't ingest it. We're not advising you to drink it, but if it's in the mouth, it's absolutely fine, as you can see. And it's got to be the internal, not the external. What products have you used for your eye makeup? Okay, so the glam fans out there, if you want to know more of the beauty stuff, I have used the Ebony HD Cream Liner. And I have also gone on top with the Pure Pigments, Pure Blue Metallics. So they're amazing if you want to go for a little kind of pop of sparkle as well. So yeah, we've kind of gone for a mixture of glam and gore. It's really sweet, actually. I feel like I've just put a ton of sweets in my mouth. It's really sugary.
Yeah, it actually has quite a pleasant flavor.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I've got bright red mouth now. Let's hope it actually it dies down by later. So what was the last thing? Sorry, I actually interrupted you when you were talking about the scabbing and stuff.
Yeah, I put on some HD blood gel, and now I'm just finishing off with my favorite drying blood, which, again, when it dries, it's going to retain its wet appearance. And, you know, an injury like this would seep and ooze. It's not necessarily going to fill the entire area with blood. You just kind of spot it in, and if it starts to drip naturally, that's great. Just adds to the realism. And that's just about it. I mean, I'm always wanting to add additional details to the look, but sometimes you just got to call it quits. While you're
you know what, actually, that's a really good point. Would you say when you're doing like an FX makeup, you need to know when to like call it a day?
Yeah, because you can, I'm a perfectionist, and I can go on and on and on and always find something wrong with it, but you do need to call it quits. And if you're working, for instance, in a production and you're on set, you do have a very strict time limit. So time management is very important to master. But when you have the right tools and the right products, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I love it.
Where's I'm just gonna throw a blood capsule in. See, my mouth is a little dry right now, so we'll see if I gotta whip up some saliva to make this work.
Tasty.
It's actually it's effervescent. Has a sweet salty tone.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Oh God, there's so much in there.
Oh. I just let it drip. And you know, little details like this, the eye blood, mouth blood, just helps add to the effect. You know, if I were to get an injury like this on my face, it would most likely affect the inside of my mouth as well, and there'd be a lot of bleeding. So those little added details for realism really help.
Oh, it's been brilliant. I loved it. Really good. It's so gruesome. Oh. Well, guys, we have come to time now. So we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that we answered as many as your questions. But if you are really looking forward to Halloween, if you are into your special effects makeup, then do keep tuned, because we have lots coming up over the next month in celebration of Halloween. You'll see Jordan's face again, and there'll be lots more to see, to learn. And if you have missed it and come on a little bit late, then you will be able to catch up on IGTV, where the video will be saved. But Jordan, thank you so much. You look
thank you. Incredible. This was so much fun.
Too much fun, honestly. I just want to start finding blood everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, right. Thank you so much. And Jordan,
thank you.
I'll see you soon.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.